When your team is looking defensively shaky, sometimes there's nothing better than grinding out a 1-0 win. As I said on the vlog yesterday, Bournemouth's victory against Fulham sort of reminded me of when a striker goes through a bit of a goal drought and he gets back to scoring ways by the ball coming off his backside or something like that. It wasn't a classic, and it matters little about how it was achieved. The important things is that we got the result and we've put things right. And look, I'm probably actually doing our performance a little bit of a disservice because yes, we sat off. Yes, at times it was uncomfortable to view. However, there were some silver linings to our 1-0 victory against the Cottagers. Half-price pizza at El Marino. Confidence-boosting result. Up to 8th in the league. Chelsea reject Kepa having a fine performance. And also Tom equaling our best ever points tally with 6 games to spare. Much needed, eh? Superb.
Yes, it's not all bad, is it? Yeah, it was much needed, as you said, Nate. And I think a few of us said it on fan cams after that. I think yes, you always want this scintillating stuff that we've had with Andoni, and loads of goals and loads of excitement and very end to end. Sometimes you need a 1-0. You really need a 1-0. And I think this was one of them games. Big for Kepa, big for us defensively as a unit as well. And I think if you had to pick the match winner, you'd have probably said, I'd love it to be Semenyo to get back to winning ways. Like if Semenyo's the man to, because he's dipped. So it was perfect, really. Yes. And when you're in the game, it's 1-0, you're a bit nervy. But I think as we come onto it, really, all the best chances were us. We didn't let them in, really. And some of the players that they had on the pitch, especially at the end, we kept them relatively quiet. So, yeah, it was tick, tick, tick for the performance. And hopefully that can kind of springboard us into a lovely end to the season.
And it being 32 games, that's also another milestone in terms of yellow cards, right?
Yes. So I think it's Semenyo and Cookie both avoid any sort of ban.
Ideal.
I think Cook did get one, but I think he's on 9, so he's fine. And Semenyo was on 9 going into the game, and didn't get a yellow. So yeah, we're all good now. And Christie hasn't got it either, but he's not got it anyway. But yeah, nice to get rid of that, to be fair, because it's always hanging over you a little bit if you're on the, kind of on the borderline of it.
It's been a fantastic weekend for the Cherries then, in all departments, not least the women who won the FA National League Plate Trophy with a win over Cheltenham Town. 3-2 win. Kenny Thompson opened the scoring early on. I think it was a lovely little cutback onto her left boot and then low rifled shot into the corner. Jenna Markham, goal machine, obviously scored at the far post as well. Cheltenham did get back into it, but then Ellie Stripple in the second half, no, actually at the end of the first, restored the margin. They did get a consolation, what turned out to be, but they hung on and they won 3-2. So scenes as we lifted yet another trophy. And then in the academy game that we've literally just come back from now, Tom, Bournemouth were playing a side that's top of the league, right?
Yes, Sheffield United. And I was showing you a few of their players that have played in the Championship for Sheffield United. They've lost 2 games in a year or something. Really good side. And obviously Bournemouth were on a really good run. So it was interesting to see how we competed. And I thought we won 3-1, but I thought that in the whole game we were just about the better side, which is big when you consider the opposition. I thought some of the players, great to see Will Dennis in goal. You always see his name, but rarely see him play, so it was lovely. Some really good players now. I think Silk Dewberry looked lively. We had Motto on the wing who scored a goal, looked really good.
Quality.
And Ado Ajay, he looks like a proper striker. He looks like someone that should get a decent loan. So it was good fun, good win.
It was. And look, could this weekend get any better? Well, maybe, if press speculation is to be believed, because there are a few tweets going around from Daily Telegraph journalists talking about Andoni Iraola and a certain contract situation.
I'm getting excited. Yeah, and I think also that's what's played in with that is TalkSport have also said that apparently Tottenham are going all out for Marco Silva, ironically a Fulham who we just played. So sorry, Fulham fans, that's what, with us as we're recording, what we've heard. It did feel, I think we said in the preview, it felt like they were the two that were getting murmured the most. And I think both supporters, if we were together on it, would go, go and get Frank instead or something. But Silva, apparently, but not sure how true that is. But obviously, from our perspective, if Iraola, if he signs, quite be the best signing. But we could sign anyone. We could keep players, we could sign big players. The key for me is keeping hold of that man. So if he stays, and I do wonder if you can get this tied down when you've just got back to winning ways ahead of the Palace game, get the fans, everyone will be buzzing. It could be a lovely little feel-good thing, mate. But I'm really hoping that that's to be believed, and we get him signed, sealed and delivered.
Hang on though, does this mean that something bad is going to happen, like a price rise for tickets or something like that? That's usually the way they do it.
My season ticket will go up, there's no doubt about that. But Listen, I think it froze last season. It's froze quite a lot. I think if it goes up a little bit, I don't mind that, and particularly because we're going to be a European football side.
Stop giving them licence to do whatever they want, Tom. But either way, what a game it was yesterday. In terms of an explosive start, I mean, it's been a while since we've sort of scored within the first sort of 10 minutes or so and then held on to that scoreline. In fact, can you remember the last time? Because I know you know.
I do know because we spoke about it, but I couldn't believe it. But to the same day,
10
years ago, we went 1-0 up at Reading. Was that like after like a minute or no?
Kind of 3 minutes. Yeah, Callum Wilson scored.
Was it Sermon at the post?
That's right, yeah.
And then we just hung on all game and won 1-0. And we've just done it to the exact same day. And I was looking back because I was thinking that surely we've had one since then, like just finished 1-0. But we haven't. We've had a few close ones. So I remember actually this season, Dean Howson scored pretty early. Yeah. It was after 10 minutes, but it was pretty early against Tottenham. Yeah, that was 1-0. Yeah. I remember going to Barnsley. Yes. Phil Billing.
Awful game, wasn't it?
Awful game. But that was still a little bit later.
Was that Phil Bill header as well?
Yeah, it was a weird goal. It like kind of dipped. And then what other ones did I say? But we've had a few, but not many that have been that early and just stayed 1-0. But yeah, it's a good sign to get it against a team that have got some good attacking impetus as well. So yeah, really pleased.
So what that does is propels us up to 8th in the table. We'll take a look at it now, and it certainly looks prettier than what it did, but we are acutely aware of those teams below us that are on the same amount of points, but that goal difference is worth an extra point. It really is. So superb to see us there. So Fulham, we actually leapfrogged them. They go down to 9th place and we're in 8th. But there's quite a gap forming. So look, 6 points between us and Aston Villa.
I can't believe we're 11 ahead of Tottenham and 10 ahead of Man United at this stage.
I mean West Ham United as well. I mean, what terrible... Look, I mean, they're going to be fine. Probably, maybe 14-point gap. That's surely irretrievable for Ipswich, but it just shows how some big names are underperforming.
38 points clear. 38 points clear. Oh, brilliant.
And what that does, though, is put a different perspective on the game that we've got coming up against Crystal Palace, though, because it could have been that had we not won yesterday, had we lost especially, it would have felt like almost a meaningless game. I know we'd still technically have things to play for, but I don't know, it just puts a bit more on it now, doesn't it?
Oh, definitely. And I think, we'll see what happens. Obviously, Palace have got another game, haven't they? They're playing Newcastle. If Eddie or even JT could do us a favour, in terms of, even if it's just a draw, I think Palace need to win a lot of games to get in that European chat. So I feel like if they don't win against Newcastle, they'll look at the Bournemouth game and go, it's all about the cup, really, which is next week, and that could suit us. Obviously, we don't want them to win the cup because that would potentially mean that they take a place off Europe. But yeah, it puts a lot more on the game, mate, for sure. I think if we hadn't a bit in Fulham, we'd feel like we're kind of, the season's been great, but we're petering out into nothing really, apart from top half, I guess. Yeah. But this puts a lot more on it, and you could tell the performance. I think the players actually at times looked a little bit nervy, kind of like they knew how important grinding that out was, and so really pleased for them they done it, and puts a lot on this game. But I fancy us.
We were in the home of AFC Bournemouth fans on a match day, of course. The QP, we were outside, but plenty were in the courtroom here, which is available for you to hire, by the way. You know where it's at. All the details in the description on YouTube for that. But at 6:45, we were looking at the team news, and there was a surprise omission. Well, we were pretty surprised, weren't we?
Yeah, Tabani. They said that he's never actually been dropped by Andoni. He's only ever been out through suspension. So it was a surprise. Obviously, Senesi's back now, so it's an option to have. And I do wonder if he just, maybe he's played too much football, I don't know, but I wonder if they just went, we haven't been great defensively lately, let's change the partnership a little bit and see what happens. So Senesi come in there. I think obviously we were hopeful for Clivert and Tav. Tav was all right for the bench, but not enough to start. So Scott played and he went down, go over Brooks again. But yeah, I was pretty happy with it. It was just that surprise at the back. But the good thing is, you're leaving out a top defender in his body, but Senesi's coming back. That's not the worst thing in the world. They went unchanged, so they were pretty much as expected, really. There was a few that I wondered if William might come in for Sessegnon, but they went with Sessegnon. And I suppose they'd just be in Liverpool, so they wouldn't want to change too much. Our bench looked decent. I mean, I've said about how strong I feel theirs is. But I still felt we had some good options there. It's nice to have as an option. Obviously, Zabani is a quality player, even though defensive. So, and Brooksy, but weird that Brooks didn't warm up.
Yeah, he didn't.
Didn't see him warm up once. So I wonder if, and he didn't come on, and he normally does. So I wonder if there was something in that. Nice to see Will Dennis on the bench and then play the next day as well. Do you reckon he left the train? He might as well have stayed there.
He might as well have. Yeah,
he had a good game, by the way, Will. Brilliant game.
Slept at D Court overnight. Yeah, so those were the teams, and it was Dean Howson's birthday, of course, as well.
Yes.
So it was a birthday appearance for Dean Howson.
I think on Monday Night Football he got the man of the match.
He did.
So a little birthday present for him, yeah.
So we're going to go over the match then, and I'd literally just taken my seat. You know what? One thing that was really odd was that we were at the QP. I think we left about 20 to 8 or whatever, a quick 10-minute walk, and I was walking sort of past the stadium at 7:55. And it was empty. It's almost like everyone in their mind is set to think it's 7:45. And I got in really, really quick.
Yes, I
really quick. So kudos to the club for that, or kudos to everyone else for getting in thinking it's a 7:45, whichever way it worked, because I was straight in. And thankfully, I was straight in because I took my seat only to be vacating it about 53 seconds later as Antoine Semenyo popped up. But it was a move which saw Fulham lose the ball and then Alex Scott driving forward with it. And then it fortuitously maybe found Semenyo, and you know what? He went on one of his runs, and even in his post-match interview on Sky, he acknowledged that usually he's hit the ball hard and we've seen that it's gone wayward. This time he placed it, caressed it, tickled it, and it went in with his left boot, because you never know which foot he's going to hit on, and Leno had no chance. What a start, 1-0.
Great start, and I think, Antoine should probably look at that. I think that's his first goal since Forest, the 5-0, and that was a side foot into the corner.
Yeah.
Wasn't it, against Forest?
Yes, it was.
So I wonder if he maybe looking at that a little bit. But I get sometimes, I mean, don't get me wrong, he scored some bloody great goals through power, hasn't he? But there's certain positions where maybe he needs to go for that composure, and he was really composed in that position. I think Scott deserves a lot of credit. Like I say, you get a little bit of luck in them, but you make your own luck by that press.
Yeah.
And Scott was on it early, done well, and it was Robinson got in a bit of a tangle, didn't he, at left back, and we managed to capitalise on that. But if I'd said them, that's it, there's no more goals, I'd have been shocked. But great start, and I think recently we've been letting in silly goals, and to get that first goal was crucial, so I was really pleased,
Well, thanks for listening or watching, because that's all that happened. No, don't worry. We'll cover the rest of it, because there are a few talking points there to be had. But with his 8th goal of the Premier League season, that's actually equalled Antoine's best ever return for a single league campaign. His last one with Bristol City in the 21-22 season. And you're right in terms of what Antoine Semenyo was saying after the game to the TV cameras. I feel like I should be getting more goals and assists. I've had numerous opportunities in games where I should have just smashed or placed it, and I've missed a couple of chances. I know for my own self, with the quality I have, I should be getting better numbers. And like you say, he has been working on it in training. So it certainly paid off. So what a good start. What a good start for us. And you know what? It sort of felt like an explosiveness that we haven't quite seen in a long time. There's been quite a malaise in a lot of Cherries' performances recently, especially at home. But that was what we wanted. It got the crowd going. I thought the atmosphere started pretty well. It kind of... It tailed off as the game went on, but there are reasons for that. And we had another chance on 15 where Ever was on the end of it, and sweeping move down the left, mate. I think it was Kirkes who just drifted in a ball to Alex Scott, who was in the right place, right time to head it back. It was a good header. Evan Nilsson, mate. Should he have done better? It's so difficult.
It's difficult.
He was stretching.
It's one of them ones where he catches it too well. Where he almost needs to scuff that and it will just go in. And he catches it perfectly, which means he just ricochets off a bar. Which we've been hitting them woodwork quite a bit lately. All season it feels like. So frustrating one, because I feel like, that would have. You wonder then if we just really kick on and get a few more, getting 2 goals early. But it was a really good move, mate. I thought Kirk's ball was perfect, drifted, and Scott again, like I say, we'll probably do this as we go on. That every decent chance we had, he was involved in, which I was really pleased about.
Really nice to see. It's almost like Andoni was just saying, look, take more risks, and
you got your chance now. Chris is out for the season.
Yeah,
go and take
exactly. This is his massive opportunity. I thought so. We had a stat in the preview about Brazilians scoring consecutive amount of goals and Richarlison being up there. I thought that could be pertinent for this one, but the woodwork had other ideas about that. Indeed, Tom, Bournemouth have hit the woodwork more than any other club this season. West Ham are on 16, Man City are on 16, Liverpool are on 18, Chelsea are on 18. What are we on?
Don't know. 21.
21.
That is a lot.
Yeah.
So if you just put, how many points do we have? I can't remember 21. Should we try and go through them?
No, I mean, I remember Tavernier. I think he's done it a couple of times. Cliver definitely has a couple of times. I wouldn't be surprised if it ever has. There's been a number of times, but 21, mate.
Didn't Zabra have one the other day? Didn't he have one off the bar?
Yeah. Of course he did. Yeah, they came off the bar. Yeah. So
we had a few, but that's one of them annoying things. But it means you're getting in a lot of good positions and creating a lot of good chances, which is nice.
Another chance was when we had a corner and it fell to Lewis Cook on the edge of the box. He just sliced it wide.
He got onto it well, and I thought hello, and then he just completely sliced it, didn't he? But as wonderful as Lewis Cook is, you probably would have picked a few more to have that chance over Cook.
It'd be interesting when we do the kind of man of the match and ratings later on in terms of who you thought maybe didn't perform so well. A few people, including Andoni at half-time, obviously thought that it wasn't working for Senesi, and it was him and Howson that had a bit of a miscommunication or something, left the ball for each other, and then I think it was Muniz, wasn't it, that went through, and he was sort of forced to the right a little bit, but he dragged his shot badly wide. He should have done a lot better with that, eh?
Yeah, it was a weird one. He's been really good for him, and I watched the Liverpool game and he caused him so many problems, and I was a bit worried about him, and I actually felt he had one of them off nights which suited us. Obviously you've got to give credit to our players, but even then when he capitalised on an error, he didn't look like a player full of confidence, which is surprising. But we got away with that one for sure. We did get away with a few in the first half, I'd say.
Yeah, because Sessegnon had a free header at the far post. So again, it was almost like it was one of those headers where a striker doesn't, or winger in that case, doesn't expect the ball to be coming to him.
I feel like Celeste was almost like too eager to go get it.
Yeah.
So he went towards it so that it goes over his head. He jumped well early. Yeah, it went over his head, and maybe Sessegnon didn't see it. But again, good positioning from Kepa, like he did a few times, where he managed to position himself well to just catch the ball with ease.
Senesi, as a talking point, there have been some Fulham fans commenting on this, where he went into that challenge with Manderson, and he won the ball. However, it sort of looked like he may have caught the ankle somewhat. Yeah. There is a bit of controversy over that. That was his 25th yellow card that he's received in the Premier League, by the way. Only that's since the 22-23 season. Only Moises Caicedo, Nelson Semedo, Joe Linton and Palhinha have received more in that time. Was it anything more than a yellow?
Hard to be. I get why there's controversy, because we never know the rules anymore. 1 week that's a red, 1 week it's a yellow, 1 week it's not even a foul. I don't know, because Zavali got sent off for something very similar. I don't think even the refs know, to be honest. We have no idea, which is why I would be annoyed if I was a Fulham fan. But
yeah, Silva complained about it as well.
But for personally, I don't know. I mean, Fulham fans are probably going to disagree, but if that's a red card, we might as well pack up and go home, mate. I mean, come on. It's not that bad. I can see why you'd go, some decisions have been a red for that. But if that starts being red cards...
Well, hark back to the reverse fixture where Christie was...
that was worse.
Christie's was definitely worse, and that was checked by VAR. Did it actually flash up on screen that it was being checked by VAR for Senesi? I presume it would have gone through the various protocols to see if it
would have
warranted it, but obviously not.
It probably helped from our perspective that the ref gave a yellow, because I think that they went, actually, that's fair. But I don't know, mate. I get why you'd say, because you could easily, that's the problem now, is there's no consistency, because you could just, you could probably find within a week or two a tackle exactly the same as a different decision being given.
Yeah.
And that happens every single week, despite the fact that we've got this amazing technology now that does nothing, because it's controversial every week. It depends what ref you get, it depends what blokes in VAR or whatever. So, but from my perspective, I don't want them to be red cards. It'd just be ridiculous if that's a red card. He's not trying to hurt him.
No, I agree.
That shouldn't be a red card, so I was glad it wasn't given.
Scott had a chance where he cut it on his left foot. You were probably down on the concourse at this point.
Yeah, saw on the telly, actually.
Oh, you did?
I did
well done. Of course, it would have shown the game, wouldn't it? So, cutting on his left, again, it was a little bit fortuitous, because he sort of tried to slip in a ball with his outside of his right foot, one of them.
Combination of the two, yeah.
And then it came back to him. He tested Leno, it was going in, but palm wide for a corner. So half-time thoughts, Tom. Said it on the vlog, I'll say it now. You texted me at 8:46 saying, tell the camera, I said, Zaba is on for Senesi at half-time. 1,000%. Have you got ITK or what?
No, I felt all game I was saying it to people next to me. There's no way Senesi comes out second half. Zaba will come on. He looks a bit shaky, and then he got that yellow. I thought, well, there's no way now, because he only needs to make one bad tackle as well. So, I think a lot of people thought that, especially after the yellow. But it's not Senesi's fault. It's good to get another 45 minutes in him. I think that'll only do him the world of good. Forget how long he's had out, by the way. And I also think I don't think him and Houghton have ever played together. as a pairing.
Wow, okay.
I don't think so, have they?
Yeah, no.
So yeah, but when you've got the option of Zabra at half time, I think it would have been weird not to utilise that. And yeah, I really love Senesi, but he was struggling a little bit, and then he had the yellow, so I thought it was the right call to make at half time. And Zabra comes back on, and I just think even if he has the off day, he's so reliable on his Zabra.
So, sometimes I wonder whether because they're basically two Spanish-speaking players that they could form a great partnership, but obviously that's got no effect on it. And yeah, you're right.
I wondered as well. Sorry, I was going to say quickly. I do wonder as well. Sometimes, obviously, Zabra and Dino are both predominantly right-footed. So you just bring in a left footer and put House to that right. Sometimes he maybe thinks that might give us a bit more balance.
Yeah, I agree.
At times, sometimes you do see us do that, or you see teams do that because you just like that balance on the side. So, and to be fair, I thought Senesi sometimes when he got the ball, he's good on it, and he's calm getting it off Kepa. It was just more aerially. I felt they were causing some problems.
Can we talk about Dango Batara? I thought he had a really good half of football.
Yeah, I thought throughout he was actually worked his nuts off. He's infuriating. He really is. I always say it because you see him do something, you think, how's he done that? And then you just kick it to him. And you think,
it's almost like he's so excited at having achieved something.
Yes, but in terms of, just giving right to the end of the game here, players like Semenyo never came off because we couldn't take Dango off because he somehow he had the energy right to the end. There was a moment in stoppage time where I think it was Ever just like poked the ball up, and he's got us about 40 yards up the pitch to win a throw in, and that's what you want from him. So yeah, I was really and a few cheeky little bits of skill in there.
Well, there was a moment even on the vlog, if you manage to catch the vlog, he's on the ball in the middle of the park, he twists, he turns, and I'm saying man on, men on, men on, there's loads of men on, man on, man on. And he spreads this world of a ball to the right-hand side, like sets us on the attack. And at that time, he had loads of people around him. I think he's going to lose it here, but he didn't. And that was what I really wanted to see from Dango. So fair play.
Yeah, I was pleased with him.
I thought he did really well.
Yeah, really well.
So we started the second half well, I think. This was a half that kind of started with Bournemouth having a bit of momentum, but it felt all Fulham. But the stats don't maybe suggest that. Maybe it was just my own nervousness that was coming into my own thoughts here. But we did have some chances early. Dango again at the centre of it. Tyler playing it to Dango. And then Dango was going to hit it in with his left, cuts back on his right, goes back onto his left again. And Tyler was outstretched and Leno was worked, wasn't he? I didn't realise how good a chance that was because I sat next to Tiggs and Greg in the south stand. I thought it came off the post, but it didn't.
Oh, okay. No, it was, and Tyler hadn't scored yet, has he, for us?
Is he not?
I don't think so. He hasn't scored, has he? No, Tyler hasn't.
So, I may have said this on a previous pod. So my friend Sarah is a teacher at a school locally. I won't say which one. And I think I definitely said this, but this is a new story to anyone who's not seen it. Fletch came in, Tyler, they do their like community visits and stuff. And so they did a Q&A and someone said, so how many goals have you scored for AFC Bournemouth then? And then the awkward moment where it's like, well, actually, I haven't scored any yet.
And Fletcher's going, I've scored first.
Yeah. Let me talk you through that Grimsby goal again.
Yeah, but I still can't in my head work out why Adams was in the box, by the way.
No, it's not like that from him.
But yeah, and to be fair, he done all he could, I felt. Just stuck his, that's what he wanted. And Leno was a top goalkeeper and he was in the right place, but Dango done well. And yeah, I think it's always important to start the half like that. So yeah, that would have been a lovely moment for him, but want to be. But yeah, again, as much as they huff and puff, as we'll talk about in the second half, that's probably the chance of the half.
Well, yeah, I was looking at the shots. I mean, we'll go early on the shots chalkboard here. And they had 9 shots in the first half. We had 9 shots in the first half. In the second half, 3 each. Yeah. But it felt like there was just more threat from Fulham. Now, that's just because them being on the ball. And they're a bit like us, and they don't really want the ball. And most of their wins come when they got a lower percentage. So it was
that's
two
why
teams
the first
that
goal was so key.
Yeah, exactly. So it's two teams that didn't really want it. So, yeah, that's quite interesting. And it probably was the chance of the half. I think the Iwobi shot from distance later on, which we'll come to, Kepa makes a very TV save. It's actually...
He's got to save that.
He has to save that,
but
really.
He's still looking through bodies, so he's got to make sure he's there, but it's not enough in the corner, is it?
No, it's not.
It's not a top corner.
And it felt, that felt like a moment that was like, Kepa saving us, but really, when I look back, actually, no, it was
I was more,
because
I thought Kepa was brilliant. Obviously, he got man of the match in the stadium, I think, just to annoy the away fans. But I was more it wasn't that save for me. It was more the fact that he commanded his area, come out a few times, good punches, good catches, and then when he got the ball to his feet, composed. That's what I want from a goalkeeper, and that's what I thought he was all game.
You're going to praise Fulham later on, of course, as you have done, because you did on your fan cams as well, because you said that they are a bloody good football side. What they're not good at is their administration.
Oh yeah, what the
on the substitutes. I mean, on 57 minutes, I don't know what was going on. Because they looked like they were going to bring one player off and then it was another one. But anyway, Traore, Jimenez and Tom Kearney entered the field over the space of a couple of minutes. Sessegnon, Muniz and Sanderberg making way.
I don't know if Fulham fans agree because, you know, obviously they know more about a team than I do. But when they made them changes, I thought, OK, they're all good players. But I can't believe that Smith Rowe and Willian were the two that were left at the end. Yeah. I would have thought one of them would have been on earlier. You know, I think Willian come on with like 5 minutes to go.
Yeah, he did, yeah.
I don't know if he's carrying something potentially that I'm not aware of, but he always causes us problems. So I was surprised that they left it so late for him. But I guess they're doing well lately, so they give him a chance to try and change it.
It certainly did sort of up their momentum though, and they certainly stepped up a gear, and then that away chance, which was well saved by Kepa.
Yeah.
Tav came on about 65 minutes, and that was one of his poorer games. He didn't affect it.
He barely got the ball, did he?
No, he didn't. And he wasn't that great when he was on it. And he's usually one of our players that, you know, Andoni can really rely on. But really, but then I think we got to pay credit to Fulham for the way they bossed it. And they seem to have an extra body in midfield. Which didn't help.
Yeah, and Kelly, they brought on a really experienced player, but he's very, very good on the ball as well. So it does feel like that sometimes. I think in fairness, I'm looking back at it, I was going, because Scott was playing really, really well, one of his best performances for us. But he was dead on his feet. So I kind of got the sub for Tav. We haven't really got any other options to go in there.
It was like Lewis Cook was almost going a bit further forward to almost help Tav out a little bit.
Yeah, the game seemed to pass him by. I think that they probably felt that we would suck it up and Tav would be better on the break than Scott because he'd have more legs. He's just coming on fresh, but it just didn't quite happen. And we've said a few times lately, not in a scathing way, because I've always believed that there's obviously a quality player in Alex Scott, but of late, every time he's come on the pitch, we've looked worse. Yeah. Well, I felt we looked worse when he went off.
Yeah,
so that shows the performance Scott had, and Tav's normally the other way. He normally improves us when he comes on, and I thought we looked weaker.
What's mad is that when Alex Scott is a player that we all want him to be, it's going to weirdly feel like a new signing.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think we've got to appreciate, one, his age, and also he's had a couple of big injuries. And it's also trying to find a role.
Yeah.
And maybe now with
fit.
Yeah, with certain injuries and bits and bobs where he's got his chance now for the running. And I was just really pleased because it'd be easy for him to go. He knows the pressure's on him. He's on the telly. He's thinking everyone's saying I'm not quite doing it at the moment. But easy to kind of hide a little bit. But what I liked about him is he was happy to get the ball and drive. And that's what I've seen so many clips of him just getting the ball and just running at people and want to see more of it. But he's made, if Kluivert's back and Tav is ready to go Saturday, he's made it a bit of a nice headache for us to have, mate, because it'd be hard to drop him now.
Yeah, Kenny had a shot that was down Kepa's throat that didn't overly test him. But then on 80 minutes, we had a bit of a penalty claim, Tom, where Evan Nilsson was felled, or so it looks. I've only seen a couple of clips on this, so I've not really got a definitive view of this yet. I mean, I'll reel out a cliche. I've seen them given.
Yeah, no, 100%. A bit like the red card one for Fulham that we spoke about. It's one of them that you don't know from one week to the next if it is. It's that standard thing that I hate where they go, if the ref had given it, it wouldn't have been overturned. Just make the right decision.
Surely it should just be right or wrong.
Yeah, but I think it was a difficult one because I don't think Leno gets the ball. So that's a penalty. But it's not like a horrific, he doesn't take him out. It was a really difficult one. In the moment, I thought that's a pen. I went straight on my phone to all my mates and I watched it on telly because I know they'll get all the replays and stuff. Every single one of them said, that'll be given. That's a pen. That's a pen. That's a pen.
Were they all Bournemouth fans?
So, yeah. So I'm waiting for one Villa fan. But I was thinking, right, it's going to get given. And then just getting the old, no, it's not clear and obvious enough, which I still don't understand that. But yeah, one of them things, mate. I think it's a weird one, isn't it? We played Fulham twice now, and I think they could argue we could have gone down to 10 men twice.
Yeah.
And we could argue we should have a penalty in one and the Hill goal.
Yeah.
So it's weird. There's been a bit of controversy. But listen, I think we could argue that's a penalty. They could have argued a red card. It both played out the same way.
Do you want to know what Andoni said?
Go on.
Do you want me to do the accent?
No, God no.
Okay. It looked like a penalty from my seat on the bench. Leno touches Evan Nilsson with the save. I've seen these types of penalties before, but we did not receive this one. I mean, he literally just says what we said. But yeah, I mean, that must be the frustrating thing. Just the inconsistency of game to game with the same challenges, same things, but then different outcomes.
Do you remember, can you imagine if you went imagine if you worked in, I'll go, name supermarket here, right? And then one day someone come in and went, I just want this can of Coke, how much is it? And you went 60p, all right. The next day they come back, I'm just getting a can of Coke again, 65p. The next day they come in 40p. You'd be sacked because you just keep getting your job wrong.
By the way, are you living in the noughties or what? For a can of Coke. My God. Well, I remember when I used to work at Co-op, all days as it was, back in late 90s.
All days.
And they did 2 bottles, 500ml for 99p. That was the offer.
Oh,
2 for 99p?
Great, mate.
Absolutely.
I hope you stocked up. You got them all and you lost still.
So the attacking momentum then, this kind of says, as we've explained really, first half was tit for tat mainly, but then second half we sort of started well, but then towards the end, the height of each of the bars shows you that there was a little bit more intensity there, but not really the threat. They were playing in the danger areas, but our defence, I think, was really good. And Zabani coming on, it just kind of reinforced us a little bit. He didn't do anything amazing.
No, but I
thought he was superb. But maybe it's from Kirk as well. Ball came over to the far post. He just got his head on it, put it out for a corner. Adam Smith, I think, who we've barely mentioned so far, was just so good.
Yeah, I thought everyone done their job perfectly for 1-0 before. So I think it's one of them that Fulham fans, rightly so, will say, God, we'd done some good bits and then we just let ourselves down in the final third, because I think that was the case. I thought they looked a good team until the end bit. But from our perspective, I think we've seen lately, you see the West Ham game as well, really recently, that we're trying to still play the same way with the same intensity and we haven't got the legs to do it. And we ain't got the subs to change it. So I think we almost took a decision in the game to go, let's trust ourselves defensively. Let's let them have the ball. If we get a break, brilliant. But let's trust ourselves to be able to see a game out. Let's trust ourselves to get a clean sheet. We used to get them. So, I think it's frustrating watching because you're like, just keep the ball, just do. But looking back on it, I think you go, that was the better game management. We were ahead at West Ham, and the game management wasn't good enough. So I think you've also got to appreciate that side of the game where you go, actually, was that one of our best game management games? Yeah. Because they're a good team.
Yeah, and we have just got to appreciate the fact that we have been on this run
where
we just don't want to lose. Or draw the game, to be fair. We want to win it. And I think it's natural for players to sort of clam up, look at the clock and realise how little time there is, and you're doing everything you can to defend. And it just felt like every time the ball went forward, it was coming back to us. Evan Nilsson was working his socks off, by the way, in that game. But in the second half, he wasn't having sort of much luck with the hold-up play. He was, really. And as you look at the hot spots of this match, you see that Kepa's in action quite a bit, because there's quite a red zone. I mean, Fulham fans will be looking at that thinking, God, we should have got something there. And maybe they should have, but we were sort of really resilient. But Fulham, it's us, Fulham and Brighton who are on the same amount of points, and it feels like at this stage bit of a 3-way shootout for 8th, maybe.
Unless Palace were to beat Newcastle and beat us, I would say.
Maybe,
probably. You never know. Or if one of the teams above fall off a cliff, they'll be dragged into it. But you would have thought so. And I think on paper, which I never agree with, but on paper, we've probably got the hardest running.
Well, Man City away, Arsenal away, that's not great.
Don't bother me, mate. I prefer that than Ipswich. We're better in them sort of games. Don't worry.
Yeah, but Man City, we've never won there.
We had never won there. We never won against City at home this season, and we did. I think you put it all into context, mate. I'll say when we play them, they might be thinking of other things as well. Let's see what happens. But I think
on the beach.
Yeah, but I think I think in general it's probably going to be one of them 3. Brighton are a bloody good team. I think Fulham are a good team. I think we're a good team. It's very, very hard. Very hard to predict that. I think it could go right to the wire. So we'll see.
So as we check out the average positions, then we see that Bournemouth were sort of lined up as they should be, really. But then substitutions, when it's made, you can see that we are very defensive. That was Zabani's average position, by the way. Usually it'd be a little bit more than that. And when Fulham brought on their subs, obviously they tried to get forward, but defensively we were just really resilient. So we'll absolutely take that. As we go on to man of the match and ratings, then, May, is it fairly obvious, or
what am I thinking for the statistically?
Yeah, the statistical standout person.
It could well be Kepa with a clean sheet and catch and stuff.
Well, I'm going to say right now that it is with 8.2. So, Tom, congratulations again. But good scores for Dango Ouattara. Semenyo got 7.7, of course, being on the score sheet as well. Lewis Cook, 7.5. Adam Smith as well. Their top-rated person was Castagna, by the looks of it, with 7.1.
Yeah, okay.
0.
Yeah, okay. Well, I don't know about you, but it's difficult because I think you can make, because it's a really good team performance, I think you can almost make a case for nearly everyone in the Bournemouth team just because everyone done their shift really well.
I mean, Senesi is no worse than Zamani there, according to the stats, 6.3.
Yeah, F stats. But yeah, I personally I think one that gets overlooked a lot is Adam Smith. I think Adam Smith's been out for a long, long time. He's our oldest player. He's come back into the team the last few weeks and no one's mentioned him because he just comes in, does his job, he's flawless. Yeah. I mean, he's getting better defensively with age, in my opinion. Obviously, he's going to lose a bit of legs, but he's getting better. And I think we undervalue the fact that he's a leader on the pitch. And I just think he just goes about his job so well. So for me, Adam Smith was just sensational. I thought both fullbacks, actually, considering their opponents.
When I did this thing with Guinness for Copper 90, so what game was it? The Nottingham Forest game it was. So I made him do a park run. Did that and then came to the QP, did a bit of filming. They asked a question, but any questions that you give them, they have to involve players who are over 25 because that's the policy, over 25 policy. And they said, Bournemouth player that you'd most like to have a pint with. Of Guinness with Adam Smith. So, like, when he retires, we'd love to get him on the podcast.
Oh, I'd love to.
He would be a dream.
He would be.
He'd be so much fun.
We get right backs on the pod. We had Iraola.
Yeah.
But yeah, he would, because I think he's obviously one of them characters as well, as you can tell.
Frano.
But he's obviously one of them characters. But you can also, he's been there so long, mate. He's been there so long. If you look at when he was here on loan, some pictures online, mate, it's unbelievable. It doesn't look like the same person.
He's
when he was dating Amy Charles and that. Remember?
So
I thought he was brilliant, mate.
We've had plenty of games this season where we've been the dominant team but failed to win the game. So this time it's nice that it's working the other way around.
Yeah, I think I think it's one of them things. It depends how you define dominant. I get what you're saying. They had all the ball second half. They would knock it around. We just sat there defending, but that's because we were 1-0 up. We wouldn't have done that if it was 0-0. So it's game stake, isn't it? It depends how you go. So yeah, I think it was important for us to get our first goal. I think if they do it, the whole game's reversed and they probably win 1-0. You know, I think we are quite similar teams.
Yeah,
I do. We were saying that, weren't we, in the preview, that maybe apart from the centre forward where they go with a bit more of a focal point, I think we're very, very similar. So their right back Castagna is a bit more solid, a bit like Smithy, that kind of tucks in a little bit because they let Robertson bomb on. Yeah. We do the same with Cottagers. Adams is like their Lukic, breaks the play up. We're very, very similar. So yeah, it's no surprise really that we're both battling it out in similar positions. I think last season we finished a position. Yeah, we were one higher.
There's a comment on our fan cams and it's from Fulham Jim. Now I've got to be careful with this because I'm not sure from the username whether it's the one who's let us use his parking space.
There was a Jim
before. And I don't know if it's that Jim, but it might be. So we've got to be nice about this. But this was his comment, and I think it's important we tackle this. Sour grapes, of course. You could have been out of sight on the first 20 minutes, but after that, I lost a lot of respect for you. The time wasting and feigning injury was shocking and embarrassing. In the second half, when 3 of your players were injured in the area, the cynical stopping of the game as well. But hey ho, we overplayed, not direct enough. Blah 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 blah. Did you sense any of that from our side? I didn't particularly feel like, good, he's going down.
Yeah, we've done it a few times.
Did we? I didn't realise that.
As every single football team in the land does.
How
mental would it be if your team were 1-0 up and they were rushing?
Are you
mental?
Perhaps you're blind when it's your team, like you're blind to it.
Yeah, because you're not getting irate.
Because I literally didn't notice any of that.
Kepa went down a few times. We got the physios on. We knew Kepa wasn't injured. So yeah, that's what I'd expect every single team in the world of football to do 1-0 up.
And when you're chasing a game, you always look at those moments more than what you do. Like, time is more valuable than what it is when you're 0-0.
Absolutely, and I've done it loads of times where you get annoyed because I never think it's the...
You've done it a little down.
Yeah.
You kicked over the fence.
I just kicked the ball over the fence because, I mean, a little down is easier because you know there's another team waiting and the ref's getting paid 15 quid, so you don't care. But yeah, I think I get annoyed all the time when other teams do it, but I never get annoyed at the team or the players because they got to do everything they can to win for their football club. I get annoyed at the officials for not stopping it. How Kepa hasn't been booked, it's not our fault.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know why the ref can't do his job, but Kepa should have got booked.
Yeah,
of course he should have. Yeah. It was time wasting loads, and I get why you'd be frustrated, but I don't think that's on us. I think you do everything to try and win the game. If the officials don't clamp down on it, we'll carry on doing it. So, yeah, I think the only thing they've changed really, which helped a little bit, is, so you notice when Scott come off, he had to go off down the 10 back end because that was his closest point. Because people used to just run to the other side.
Yes, that's right.
So, yeah, they're doing little bits. Hopefully they can improve it. There's been a bit of talk, isn't there, about if you take too long on certain things, like a goal kick, it'll be a corner.
Yeah.
Like, but I think there needs to be some sort of jeopardy with time wasting.
Yeah.
But that's exactly what I want my team to do. If
Yeah.
they can't implement their job, then we'll take advantage of it, mate.
So look, Jim, there's your response. If it is
Should have
the
been more
same-
than 5, by the way.
What?
It was 5 minutes added. I was
Yeah,
well
yeah,
happy. I
yeah.
thought it was 6 or 7.
If it is the Jim, I can't remember what his username is. If it is Jim, just there's our response. And can we use your parking space next time, please?
Yeah, we'll fill them again next season.
Tom,
handy,
it's been a pleasure. That is it.
Yep.
Done. It's a relatively shorter one, but it's nice to have a smile on our face. But you know what? It for me, it's like a tentative smile because I know that how this can change so quickly.
Yeah.
We can get a bad result the weekend and I'll be feeling shit again.
Why do you always do that? You're so... What's
No,
the
but I mean,
glass half? What's the bloody thing? You're always like...
I would rather be a pessimist and be surprised than an optimist and be disappointed.
Boring, that, innit? But I remember saying, because everyone went,
just
after
me.
like Ipswich and that, everyone went, well, that's that. And I went, but it can change. We'll just win a game. Yeah, it can change both ways. We can lose to Palace and all go, well, that's that. And it might not be. We could beat Palace and go, we're going to Europe, and we might not.
Oh.
Just don't, it's just good fun, isn't it? But
All I want is a points gap. And
yeah, but I like the fact that we just keep going. It's going to be nervy. It's what it's all about. Let's enjoy it. Whatever happens, it's going to be our best season ever in history, ever.
Yeah.
So we've got to enjoy it. And yeah, really, really tough game at the weekend, but could we? Yeah, probably.
Could we? Well, make sure you do a couple of things for us because it would really help us out.
Yeah, click the like, click the bell, and click the subscribe button. Even you, Jim, please. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks very much. And if you're listening to the pod, you can leave a review as well. Thanks very much. The next video that we'll have out coming on this channel is the Palace preview. So I better find a team for play for both, haven't I?
Oh, yeah, you got to do one of them, haven't you?
Yeah, yeah.
Lerma,
Glenn Murray,
John Ward.
Jim Vincent.
Are we just going to do them all now? Nah, it's not
Out the chest, come
about the chest. Show me the way to live. You idiot.
Kazakhstan. Down,
Romania. Oh, yeah, good.